Shalom and welcome to another episode in our ongoing series called Faith Journeys with God in the Land. Today we're at a very solemn place. It's called Yad VaShem, Israel's Holocaust Memorial and Museum. Specifically, we're walking around today in the Valley of the Destroyed Communities. This is a very solemn place. We're actually at the Valley of the Communities here at Yad VaShem. Yad VaShem is Israel's Holocaust Museum and Memorial. And this particular area of the museum is called the Valley of the Communities, and it is designed to help us remember all the thousands of Jewish communities that perished as a result of the Holocaust. You can see behind me as I walk through this maze, really, this labyrinth of communities represented all over Europe. We can really see the names of not only the communities, but they are depicted in a way that the larger the name, the larger the community, which means the more people died in those communities as a result of the Nazi regime. This is the area of Germany. You can see Munich, Frankfurt. Coming up is Berlin. It's a really solemn place, and we remember all these communities and what they represent in terms of the loss of life. This is the area of Poland. There's Warsaw. Just to pause and think of the suffering that all these Jews encountered as a result of evil. The endless number of communities here. It really takes your breath away. It's a sad place here, the Holocaust Museum. The name Yad VaShem, incidentally, is taken from Isaiah chapter 56. It means a memorial and a hand, if you will. Or a name, I should say. And this is the largest area of this Valley of the Communities. Not many groups come here at all. You can see these stones piled up, and it's in the shape of Europe, and we just walk together through all of these areas where countries, communities are represented. So what do we make of this? This is a difficult place to be. I know we already produced and shared one video at the other location for the museum, where the museum and the Children's Museum and other, like the Valley of the, the Avenue of the Righteous Gentiles are there. All these Gentiles who helped save the life of Jews during the Holocaust. Oskar Schindler, Corrie ten Boom, names like that. But our role as believers, as we journey with faith and in God, is to really be a voice of righteousness, to be a voice of hope and comfort to those who not only lost their lives but experienced such levels of suffering. Now we, of course, pray that it never happens again. Never again should something like this happen. 6 million Jews, 1.5 million of them were children. In fact, it's a very solemn experience just to simply walk through the Children's Memorial, where you hear the names, the continual names, first names only, and where they were from. It's a solemn experience that sort of grips your heart. So as believers in our journey of faith, we are to be a voice of hope, and we are to lift up our voice in what we do, our actions, when we see evil, when we see just the epitome of corruption. You know, we, of course, live in a political world, and I don't mean to be political here, but in terms of being a voice against even political ideas and notions that go against the very authority of God's Word, and the tragedies that we see all around the world, but even in our own country, the loss of life through things like abortion, and those examples of pure evil and corruption. We are to be a voice of life and hope. When we read the Bible, of course, it's filled with unfortunate circumstances. Old Testament history is not as squeaky clean as we may think. A lot of evil and corruption took place then. And of course, we turn to the New Testament and see Jesus coming on the scene, and people like Paul taking the good news of the kingdom to a lost world. You know, the Greek and Roman world was a difficult one for Christians as well. They suffered at the hands of emperors like Nero, of course. Many of the disciples lost their lives for boldly sharing the good news. But here we pause to remember, first of all, those 6 million Jews who lost their lives. And we sort of scratch our heads and go, wow, how did this happen? How did the world let this happen? You know, the U.S. was pretty silent at the beginning of the Holocaust. You know, we could have done more as a country, as leaders. Yet the result is 6 million lost their lives as a result of an evil regime led by Hitler. So today, perhaps look around you, pause to reflect what role that God may have you, and certainly on a smaller scale, but what role might you play in being a voice of hope and righteousness and life, liberty? Those suffering around us, what can we do to offer comfort to them? So here at Yad VaShem in the Valley of the Communities, we consider these tough words, if you will. An area of Jerusalem, this museum that sort of grips your heart as we consider the atrocities of the Holocaust. My group is over in the area dedicated to Poland. Our guide is actually one who lost 12 family members himself in a place called Vilna, Poland. And he's sharing with our group how that all transpired. So our hearts go out to those who indeed lost life, family members. Every single Israeli knows someone in their family who lost their life. That's gripping, isn't it? So look for a way to be a voice of hope and encouragement to those around you. So shalom from this very solemn place called the Valley of the Communities here at Yad VaShem. And until next time, shalom.